Good evening everyone and welcome along to League of Europe. We are here for Formula 2 action, Season 5, Division 1, Round 11 of the Championship as we take in the Belgian Grand Prix from the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, the longest track on the F1 calendar. My name is James Head, taking you through the stream as always tonight on a Monday, and joining me in the commentary box it is Mr. Michael Edwards. Mike, how you doing? If he's there. I hope he is. I don't think he's out at the minute. I think he's...
No, I'm here.
You're here? Good.
Yep, I forgot that I muted myself in the party while I changed my microphones over. But yeah, looking forward to this one. It's going to be a fantastic race, and it's such an iconic track as well. These guys are going to be belting around. It's going to be absolutely insane.
It is going to be absolutely insane, and we do have championship permutations coming in tonight as well, which I'm literally just calculating up now out on track, and it is 56 points, the gap between Toxic and Verstappen coming into tonight. 348 for Toxic, 292 for Verstappen. It is quite complicated, I've got to be honest, the permutations for the championship. We haven't sorted it out before we came live, so it might be the case of just hit and hope that one of them pick up the championship by the end of tonight. I think Toxic, though, was in the best position to do that. He's on 348 points, as I say. Verstappen in second on 292. Rocco third on 281. Ruta fourth on 254. Campbell fifth on 245. Then a big gap to Nathan in sixth on 178. Miami and Larkin separated by 1 point, along with Zerma in 9th. They're separated by 3 points, respectively in 7th, 8th and 9th. Brent ran off the top 10 on 138 points. RGW in 11th on 133. Nolan 12th on 91 for Alfieri, 13th on 67. Nathan 14th on 58, that's CRL Nathan. M Short 15th on 55. Sofian 16th on 48. Kvyat Chill 17th on 31. Josh 18th on 26. Maledictus in 19th on 24. Ryan in 20th on 23. Yono in 21st on 16. Benny 22nd on 10. He's left the Discord, by the way. And Killer Blue is in 23rd on 9 points. Got there in the end as Toxic holds a 56 point advantage coming into tonight. Mike, surely it is his.
Yeah, he's done the groundwork this season. Obviously, getting the wins in, getting some big points in, and really taking advantage when some of his other competitors have fallen off and had some bad races.
Zerma has just literally confirmed this in the Discord. If Verstappen doesn't outscore Toxic by 9 points at the end of today's racing, Toxic wins the title. So that is what is on the line. So if Verstappen doesn't outscore Toxic by 9 points, Toxic will win the championship here tonight. Hopefully we're going to get a better attendance than this though. 10 drivers for the penultimate round of the F2 season, when we've had pretty much full grids as we've seen throughout the season so far. It's very, very disappointing, to be honest, and I've got to give a lot of credit. I know it's bank holiday here in the UK and I know it's bank holiday elsewhere as well, but come on guys, it's 10 drivers. I always say quality over quantity, but 10 drivers that could potentially be scoring a big amount of points. It's very disappointing, I think, from the guys who are not showing up.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course it's not the attendance that we want to see out there, but to be fair, we know we're going to get some good racing with these guys in the lobby, if it does stay, I guess.
Oh yeah, don't doubt for 1 minute that we're not going to get any good racing out on track, because we will. I think these 10 drivers are probably the select few and are probably the cleanest drivers that we've got, I think, within F2. I'm not saying that because I know the likes of Rocco were driving in a sprint cup, which I was actually asked to do tonight at 7 o'clock. But I refused. It was Montana who asked me as well, and it's a very good championship, I've got to say. I've been watching some Montanas. It's a Sprint Cup championship, and that's really good. Rocco competing in that. There's a couple of the Relentless guys competing in that. I think there's a couple of QVR guys in that as well, so it is very good indeed. But of course, we are here for Formula 2 action, and of course, in terms of the championship for the constructors, well, basically, BWT, HWA Racelab have sorted up the championship. 593 points. Arc Grand Prix in second on 372. High-Tech third on 347. Prima fourth on 323. MP Motorsport fifth on 305. Universal sixth on 304. Trident seventh on 154. Carlin eighth on 143. Dams ninth on 115. And Campos actually picking up the first point of the season for them. They're in 10th on 38 points. But BWT have got a 221 point advantage coming into tonight, Mike. That is impossible to bridge.
Honestly, it's just a testament to how well both Tom and Campbell have driven throughout this season. Absolutely incredible performances from both of them. And yeah, the margin they got, 100% fully deserved.
It is fully deserved out on track, and hopefully Toxic will try and replicate that. Hopefully we'll get him in, maybe to speak about his championship win by the end of tonight. Who knows? But 12 drivers now here. Pharrell Fury and Cali have literally just joined in, and I believe they're both as part of Division... Well, Pharrell Fury is part of Division 1, but Cali is not. He's a Division 2 driver. So we've got a Division 2 driver joining us tonight, it seems.
Yeah, and I've just seen the comment in the stream. Cloudy Cloud, I'm not getting in the car. I'm here in the commentary booth. I'm going to have to stay here. I'm respectfully declining that.
And RGW, by the way, as well, saying sorry to me, primarily, not to you, Mike, sadly. You don't get to see my horrific celebrations today. My OBS and internet are having a mare on my PC. Terrible. Get it sorted out for next week. That's what we have to try and feel. Hopefully we may be able to do like a live feedback interview maybe next week if he does very well and if he turns up of course next week. But hopefully we're going to be getting underway. 13 drivers now here. It seems like we're getting a couple of Division 2 guys in. Relentless Jordan has now just joined in. So it is very good to see, but the simplest matter is there's 11 drivers in Division 2 tonight. Last week there was 10. There was 10 last week in Division 1. That could have been a full grid race of 20 drivers. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, end of the day, for most of the season, both divisions have had pretty decent attendance, racing, well, each week at every single race, and I don't know, maybe it's just because it's a bank holiday, the reason it's gone this way, but I don't know, I prefer sitting here in the commentary booth to having a couple of cans.
A couple of cans, that is... if that's not a reason to get drunk tonight, then I don't know what is, to be honest. I've got my lovely... Well, it's not flavoured water, it's actually in a Volvic lemon and lime natural flavour water bottle. I've got water, so it's simple as that. So we've literally got tea... Well, we've literally got Tea Toxic, me, and then Mike. There we are. Perfect commentary duo. Or Tea Tolson, not Tea Toxic.
I mean, I got coffee. You know, that's what I got. Even though it's warm, I still gotta have a cup of coffee.
Oh, honestly, I was sitting out in the back garden earlier on, and I feel absolutely roasted. After I was sitting in the sun, we had a couple of my girlfriend was round and her family were round as well, and it was my mum's birthday today. So happy birthday to my mum if she's listened to this back. But she probably won't, but happy birthday to my mum. But I was sitting outside, and honestly, I was getting so roasted. My arm has literally turned red. You wouldn't believe it. It is so bad. And I've got eczema, so it's even worse. So, but it looks like, with me talking about me sunbathing in the back garden this afternoon, it looks like we're about to get underway.
Yeah, and also happy birthday to your mother as well. I mean, I'll join in with that. Also, I believe it's a happy birthday for Zodema as well.
It is Ernema's birthday. Unfortunately, having the same birthday as my mum is very unfortunate, I think, from his perspective. But Zernema, of course, is driving here tonight as well. Apparently, he has been under the influence of a couple of cans, so don't be surprised if you see him maybe bottle it out on track. The UHC, by the way, has joined the lobby as well, so it's good to see some Division 2 guys in who are still available from the racing from for Formula 2, Division 2, I should say, just a couple of moments ago. Of course, that finished about half an hour ago. We're now getting underway, though, into Formula 2, one-shot qualifying, 50% feature, 50% sprint race, and we hope to see some really good action out on track around what is the longest track on the calendar.
Yeah, and one of the most iconic tracks on the calendar as well.
It is indeed, and looking at the track map, we have got La Source, Eau Rouge, Radion, Camel Strait, Les Combes, down in towards Bruxelles, down in towards X Corner, otherwise known as No Name, down in towards Pouin, through in towards Rivage, through the Campos section, on the Fagnier section, through Coevpool Frey or Stavelot, then through Blanchemont, on the up to the bus stop chicane, and that is your lap of Belgium.
I think my track map is might be a bit wrong.
It might be a bit wrong. I've got the one from the Formula 1 2021 book, so it might be wrong, or it might be the official F1 track map. Who knows? Zerdimer, though, the birthday boy, is the man we are going to ride on board with as he now comes across the line to start off a lap here of Belgium and goes very slow down in towards turn 1, and you can already tell he might be under the influence of a bit of drink, because I don't think this is going to be the quickest lap of the night at all, as I get a little bit of volume coming into my right ear finally. It's now up the hill through Rouge and Radion. Takes it very nicely indeed, now towards the Camel Strait. Where is he going to be in the whole grand scheme of things? Looks like RGW has actually invalidated on his lap. Toxic, Campbell, Nolan, DUHC, and Maledictus is towards the top. DUHC Division 2, Zerdimer absolutely sends it, coming through Les Combes. Now through Les Combes, down in towards X, where he's taking his time coming through there. I don't know, this is the weirdest lap to probably commentate on, to be honest. Zerdimer now coming down in towards Bruxelles. About 50 mile an hour going through there, which is not the line I would be taking at all, and certainly not the speed I would be taking at all. Now through X, on the run down in towards P1. He's ahead of Ryan and Maledictus now, so I guess those guys have also invalidated on their laps. TDB is towards the top end of the field as well, along with Nolan, but Toxic Campbell currently showing the way the two BWTs. DWC's holding his own though, in about 4th or 5th position. Zerdimer now coming through into the Fagnier section, out on track. He now is hopefully not going to invalidate. This is a smooth lap from Zerdimer. If a bit slow, it is a smooth lap from him as he now comes out through the end of the middle sector, in towards Stavelot, in towards Coevpool Frey, and now comes through the corner on the run up towards Blanchemont. And this is where I have a feeling he might actually lose it out on tracks. He now runs up in towards Blanchemont, which is turn 17. This corner here flies through, not a pick of bother at all. He takes the left-hand line now towards the bus stop chicane for the final time, and he's absolutely misjudged that down into thingy. Toxic got disqualified for invalidating, but Campbell on top for Verstappen second, Brent in third. Zerdimer is coming across the line, and wow, it's a 2:03.3 I think there from Zerdimer. It puts him in tonight, the slowest lap you might ever see around Spa. But out on track, it is Campbell who took it, a 10th of a second. Look at how close Verstappen and Brent were, though. But advantage Verstappen in the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. And judging from Zerdimer's lap, he could be a bit of a problem early on for Toxic. You have to be very alert. There was a very, I want to say, a Kimi Räikkönen-esque lap there from Zerdimer. Not a care in the world.
It definitely was. Campbell down on top for Verstappen second, Brenton third, DUHC holding his own in fourth. Good lap from him. Nolan in fifth, TDB sixth, Callie in seventh, Jordan in eighth, Zerdimer ninth, Pharrell Fury in 10th. Zerdimer, under the influence of a lot of drink, has actually beat Pharrell Fury. Toxic, Ryan, Maledictus and RGW. IL-14 drivers, the bottom four, of course, disqualified because they invalidate their laps out on track. But we are about to get going, of course, in towards this one, in towards the feature race, then the sprint race. Larkin, by the way, in the comment section supporting Callie. And Cloudy Cloud, I agree with that comment. We should get Mike into the car for the final race of the season. And you never know, we might just dip out of commentary next week. We might be both out on track. You never know.
That's not going to end well for both of us.
It definitely won't, especially around a track like Bahrain. Bahrain, of course, is one of my pet hate of a track. And honestly, I wish we were doing the short circuit.
I've never finished a Bahrain race in LOE. You can't do that to me.
Well, you never know. There might be about 30 times a charm, maybe, if it's Bahrain, of course, next week. But you never know what's going to unfold, of course, out on track. And we are here, of course, in Belgium for now. Of course, we're going to Bahrain next week for the final round of the championship. And then our Monday nights will be clear after the Bahrain Grand Prix next week. But the feature race is about to begin. And, of course, Campbell out on top, Verstappen second, Brent in third. Very, very interesting to see Verstappen second place on the grid. Toxic invalidating his lap all the way down on 11th. I wonder what Campbell's going to do to Verstappen here, because Verstappen and Campbell are both in that same team, of course, both in QVR. Verstappen, I would argue, has probably been the quicker man in the last couple of weeks compared to Campbell. Is Campbell and Verstappen going to work together to pull away from the likes of Brent, or are they going to be rivals out on track? I would assume rivals.
I'd assume a bit of both. I think they'll use each other to pull away from the pack, and then battle it out amongst themselves.
Well, you never know. Both of them, of course, on a set of soft compound tyre. Looking further down the field, we have DUHC, Pharrell, Fury, Maledictus and RJTW on a set of medium compound tyres. Everyone else on a set of soft compound tyre. But it's going to be fascinating to see, I think. Yeah, Verstappen, I would imagine, is going to try and take the fight to Brent. To Campbell, even. Brent is going to probably take the fight as well to Verstappen. He was quite quick a couple of weeks ago. But it's a very, very mixed-up grid here, of course, with the addition of a couple of Division 2 drivers, with the addition of Zerdimer being drunk on his birthday in 9th position as well. He's got only 6 drivers behind... only 5 drivers, I should say, behind them to try and, well, not Muller down in towards La Source.
Yes, and fortunately for me, I don't have to do comms next week drunk, because my birthday's the day after F2.
Thank goodness Maledictus has left the session. Hopefully we can get him back in, possibly to take control of his own car, as Relentless Ryan and Toxic have had a bit of contact just coming through the Fanier section out on track. Both them, of course, on the grid. They, of course, will stay in terms of the temperature on the same compound of tyres as the guys and at the same temperature as the guys, so we're going to be joining them on the grid very shortly indeed. But Campbell out on top, Verstappen second, Brent in third. Will that be the top 3 though? Mike, I'm going to come to you. Is that your top 3 or are you going different?
I'm going to go Verstappen for the win, Campbell second, and you know what? I'm going to go for Nolan on the podium.
Yeah, Nolan down in 5th position, of course. For me, I think Verstappen's going to win. I think Toxic will be second. I don't know why I think Toxic will be second from 11th, but I think he will. And in third, I'm going to go for Campbell. I think Campbell will finish third. But we are about to take the race start, of course, here out on track. There's the view from Campbell. There's a view from Verstappen, one of the shortest runs down and towards turn number 1. Here down and towards the La Source hairpin. There is the view from the La Source hairpin as we now ride back on board with Campbell. And we hope to see some very good starts out on track. The 5 red lights now going out in the feature race here in Division 1. And it is lights and away we go. Campbell gets a good start. Verstappen gets a good start as well. Maledictus has got a good start off the line as well. Looks like he still might be in AI mode running down in towards someone. But Verstappen down the inside line of Campbell tries to get the move done. But Campbell holds sway and Campbell holds the lead on the run down in towards Rouge and Radion for the first time. Campbell leads the way, Verstappen in second, but look, they're already pulling the gap to Brent. TDB's up to 4th. It looked like actually he had a little bit of damage, but he doesn't. Coming up the hill, Verstappen though right on the back of Campbell. BWT against Prima, and now the Prima will come to the outside line. TDB on the inside line for Fury and Zerdimer and Ryan, I think, with 3 wide going down in towards Lecombe. But Verstappen round the outside of Campbell, gets the move done. Verstappen needed that. He is Looney's into the lead of the race. I'll tell you what though, Nolan is trying to fight with TDB as well. TDB tries to undercut on the back of Brent. The top 2 have got 9/10 of a second over. TDB tries to launch it down the inside line. Brent runs out wide. Shooting this is TDB's move down the inside line. Campbell's actually back alongside Verstappen. I didn't even see that whatsoever. Campbell is back through into the lead of the race. Verstappen in second. Both of them taking the fight to each other. Brent and Nolan going side by side on the run down in towards Pouon. Toxic, by the way, has gained 7 positions and Brent runs wide and Nolan is through and he's into 4th. Toxic has gained massively on the first lap.
Yeah, I was on board with a little bit of the action towards the back end. The absolute run that Ryan got on Jodema and Foul Fury was incredible, but Nolan, a bit of a bump pass there on Brent, just a slight tap in the Pouon.
Yeah, slight tap into Pouon, he's into 4th, Brent now down into 5th, but for how long? Because Toxic is now right on the back of him, and Toxic is looking so quick out on track. The top two pulling away. Campbell and Verstappen have got to work together at this point. TDB is a very quick man. We've seen it in TTML before. Verstappen lunges out on Campbell, down on the inside line on the bus stop chicane. Brent and Toxic nearly going side by side as well. In the background of shot, but Campbell holds the lead. Verstappen in second. TDB has a right moment coming out the final corner. Toxic now on the back of Brent, runs on the inside line. Bit of ghosting system into play here as well. Toxic to the inside line, should get the move done on Brent. Down in towards turn one, he does. Toxic is flying out on track. He's through and he's into fifth.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic there from Toxic. Just got the run coming out of the bus stop chicane to really have a go into turn one, and he gets the move done. And now he's on the back of Nolan, but he's going to be able to stay ahead of Brent as they begin to one shot.
Here comes Verstappen for Campbell for the race lead, running down towards the con. Verstappen on the outside line, very, very short of room. Campbell on the inside line, but Verstappen tries to hold it around the outside. Really good battling. Nolan and TDB are going at it. Toxic tries to look down the inside line. This is a great racing out on track. 3 wide down and towards Bruxelles. Nolan tries to pull out the Mazepin move. Toxic down the inside line is just about going to force his way through. I think Toxic is through, forcing Nolan off wide. Nolan is back on the inside line. Toxic on the outside line. Incredible racing here. Toxic picked up a 3-second time penalty. That needs removing, to be honest. TDB has got a really good run. Ran the outside through Puon, but Nolan is through and he's into P3. TDB and Toxic are side by side as well. Campbell holds the lead. Verstappen in second. The front two have absolutely mullered themselves away from Nolan, Toxic and TDB. And Toxic has muscled his way back through and he's into fourth. This is an absolute incredible feature race so far.
Absolutely action everywhere. You're focusing on one battle, I'm focusing on another. There's too much going on right now. Calm me down, lads. Calm me down.
DOHC is under pressure from Ryan as well, 7th and 8th position, but I tell you what, TDB has got a good run on Toxic. Toxic, in fact, has got a really good run on Nolan as well, running in towards Blanchimont for the second time. Campbell leads the way, Verstappen in second, Nolan in third. The DRS will be enabled next lap around, and this will mean that, it's actually DOHC has got miles wide coming through in towards the bus stop chicane. I wonder if there was contact maybe with Ryan. They were side by side, I think, running through Blanchimont, and I wonder if DOHC's either misjudged his breaking point completely there, or if there was a little bit of contact. It looked to me there was a little bit of polystyrene boards that went flying. TDB tried to get side by side with Toxic. Toxic now on the back of Nolan, and TDB's going to be a madman if he tries to go for this. Jordan and Pharrell Fury are swapping positions further down, and this is mad. Down in towards Arouge and Radion. Pharrell Fury on the inside line. I'd say absolutely incredible, but look at RGW. He's going to get both of them running down the Camel straight. Verstappen takes the lead. Campbell second, Toxic third, Nolan fourth. RGDW though has absolutely flew past both of them. Pharrell Fury looks to the inside line, tries to get the move done. Of course, Pharrell Fury, a really, really good rival of RGW last season in Division 2, but RGDW muscled his way through, or has he? Pharrell Fury now down the inside line, tries to look down the inside. The Dams forces the Carlin wide, but I tell you what, the invitation was there. Pharrell Fury through and he's into 9. TDB is right on the back of Nolan.
Yeah, TDB tried down the inside into Purcell on Nolan, and Nolan able to hold on, but TDB all over the back of that rear wing, and look at the gap. The Toxic's already pulled out Nolan.
Yeah, 9/10 of a second. That gap is only going to increase, you would imagine. RGW sent it down on Pharrell Fury down and toward the Fania chicane, and RGW through and he's into 9th position. He could be a man to watch out for, given that he's got no live stream here tonight. It might actually be a good fortunate look for him. He's up into 9th position. TDB still on the back of Nolan. This is for 4th and 5th on the run up towards Blanchimont. Verstappen, by the way, got the move done down the Kemmel straight. He leads. Campbell second, Toxic third, Nolan and 4th. TDB and 5th. TDB just feathers off the throttle slightly, but when are the pit stops going to come? Zerdimer is side by side nearly with Jordan, and Jordan picked up a 3-second time penalty. Zerdimer tries to lunge it down the inside line. He was drunk in qualifying. Is he going to be drunk to try and get this move done? No. Run the outside maybe? Zerdimer is side by side. What a phenomenal run he's got as well. Jordan on the inside line. Missed the gear shift slightly, Zerdimer. And now they're side by side running down the straight towards La Source. Zerdimer muscles his way, trying to get the inside line. He does. He picked up a 3-second time, but I don't think he'll matter about that. Jordan is back through, though, with the overtake. A DOHC might go side by side with Zerdimer as well. Zerdimer dropping down the field, but he's still in 12th as Campbell attacks for the lead.
Yep, Campbell trying to make a move for the race lead. We got TDB getting past Nolan on the Camel Straight as well, and we got Brent just lurking in behind these two.
And look at DHC's run on Zernemer as well. He looks the inside line, down in towards Lecom. He is not close enough though. Zernemer holds on, but Zernemer now pretty much holding up a massive train out on track. DHC has got to try and get his way through here. So has Jordan. Both of them stuck behind a drunk man out on track, and that's not often I say that in commentary. Zernemer is in 11th, DHC 12th, Jordan in 13th. Actually, Zernemer, I think, got that move done. Campbell is back through though into the lead of the race. Verstappen in second, Toxic third, TDB in fourth. We cannot keep up with the amount of action that's going on out on track. It's very fair racing and it's very hard racing, but it's absolutely brilliant to watch.
Yeah, not only that, I'm looking at this gap that between Verstappen, Campbell and Toxic, and that's gone down by 7/10 on the previous lap, and Toxic is absolutely flying right now to try and catch up.
It was 3.1 seconds out on track last lap around, and it's now 2.2. So he's getting 9/10 of a second pretty much on the back of Verstappen. And Verstappen and Campbell are probably going to be coming into the pits very soon indeed. The softs really don't last long around here in Belgium. And in fact, Campbell's in, Verstappen is in, Toxic stays out. So that's going to be interesting. Is the overcut going to work? TDP in, Nolan in, Brent in, Callie is staying out. Campbell has picked up a 5-second penalty.
I mean, now it's definitely advantage Verstappen, because Toxic with that 3-second time penalty, if he wants it removed, he'll have to make sure he doesn't exceed track limits anywhere else for the rest of this race.
I wonder if Verstappen's going to be held up in the pit lane maybe here. He comes out. Is he out ahead of Campbell? I think he is. Yeah. Verstappen is ahead of Campbell, so he's actually undercut him. Coming out the pit lane, Verstappen, very rare you see that. He is through and he's into 9th position, but it is for the net race lead. Here comes Pharrell Fury on the back of RGDW, and he gets moved through down the Camel straight, down the inside line. He gets done. Zernemer on the outside line of DOHC, and he's going to be through and he's into 5th position. Jordan right on the back of this as well. He's laying up his own, but Toxic leads the way. RGW, though, has got a phenomenal run on Pharrell Fury, down in towards Bruxelles, but not close enough. DOHC picks up a 3-second time penalty in the background. Campbell already through on Verstappen.
Yeah, DRS definitely coming into play there for Campbell, and let's see how Verstappen is going to play this now, because he would have seen Toxic with a 3-second time penalty, Verstappen, Campbell now with that 5-second time penalty. I wonder how Verstappen is going to play this.
Nolan and Brent are having a really good battle as well. For 12th and 13th, Nolan has muscled his way out of that position by Brent. Brent is through and he's into 12th. Nolan probably won't be happy with that. I think Nolan tried to got shot as well by Brent earlier on in the race down in towards Stavolo. So that's 2 moves now that Brent has actually managed to get past Nolan. Nolan might not be happy with that one though. Toxic leads the way. The gap to Campbell, just to put in the whole grand scheme of things, is, as I look through the wrong thing, is 24.1 seconds. Pit stop around here is 23 seconds. This is going to be close.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be interesting, because here comes Toxic now into the pit lane along with Callie and Zudema and Jordan all into the pits now.
Campbell's into the bus stop. Campbell and Verstappen are into the bus stop. Toxic's out of his pit box now. So he's not even out of the bus stop chicane yet, Campbell. He's now out of the bus stop, and this is going to be extraordinarily close out on track. I think it's advantage Campbell and Verstappen coming out the pit lane. And in fact, I think Toxic might even drop down behind TDB here. TDB's going down towards turn 1. Watch out for this, because Toxic's on the inner line, but he's just about out ahead, and Toxic is lucky. He's in 7th position now out on track. He's in a net P3. Verstappen with no penalties on the back of Campbell. And Campbell now is going to be the one that's under attack from Verstappen, because here comes the Dutchman running down past Dutch corner to the left-hand side, running down the Camel straight. Can he look to try and get the move done? Down the inside line he'll go, down into the bus stop, down into the Lecom. Campbell holds it all the way around the outside. That's really impressive from Campbell. Campbell had the audacity to hold it around the outside there. Absolutely clean as a whistle from Campbell, and he still holds on to the net race lead. Campbell has just outmastered Verstappen.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic defensive driving there from Campbell to hold it around the outside to maintain the net P1. And I'm looking at this gap between these guys and Toxic. It doesn't look like Toxic really has lost anything out of being undercut by a lap.
He hasn't. 2.1 seconds is very similar, because I think it was 2.2. Ryan, by the way, shoving Callie all the way down and towards Puon. Nearly trying to get the move done is Ryan. He's on the back of Callie, of course. Ryan, of course, part of the commentary team that took you through Division 2. It was Tinkan, Nolan, and Ryan, if I'm not mistaken. The 3 commentators for Division 2. Division 1, of course, it is me and Mike. RGDW, though, leads the way from his old adversary, Pharrell Fury, and then an even older adversary, DOHC, is right in behind. It's like I've gone back in time a season.
Yeah, the same for the few races I did in Division 2 last season.
RGW, though, of course, Division 2 champion last season. Pharrell Fury finished second in the championship last season, if I'm not mistaken. So these two are do provide a good show out on track. They're clean as a whistle, and hopefully they're going to be delivering some really great action out on track. Ryan looks to the outside line of Callie there into the bus stop, but doesn't get quite close enough. Verstappen, though, is on the back of Campbell, running down towards Arouge and Radion. They're running down the hill at this stage. Ryan looks to the inside line of Callie, perhaps on the back, but not quite close enough. Verstappen on the back of Campbell, though. We're right on board with this. Coming through a Rouge, then through Radion, and Verstappen ran wide there. And I don't think it was a wheel glitch or anything like that. I think Verstappen just made a pure mistake out on track there, and Verstappen now has got to find anything. It's now TDP. Sorry, Nolan is through on Brent, and Ryan is going through on Callie as well. That's for 9th and 11th positions respectively. But Verstappen, it looked like he backed off the throttle to go out wide, not to pick up a 3-second time penalty. Smart, but it's lost him time.
Yeah, it just looked like he just had to readjust himself slightly and just decided, right, I'm just going to go wide by here, let off the throttle, avoid a 3-second time penalty or a track extension. And yeah, now he's got it all to do because he has lost quite a bit of time to Campbell. He didn't close up like he would have on the straight. And I think Campbell's going to have the gap to really defend now in his following lap.
Yeah, you'd imagine. So obviously that 5-second penalty is not going to come into play. But by the way, if Verstappen picks up a 3-second time penalty, he's going to be on the same amount as Toxic. And Toxic is closing in on Verstappen as well. He's got the pace. Has he got the pace, though, to catch the back of Campbell and catch the back of Verstappen before it is too late? Pharrell Fury, by the way, tries the undercut. So he is into the pit lane. He's in very early. I've got to say, from a set of mediums, I would say about lap 9, I would have said, for a set of soft compound tyre. But Pharrell Fury is taking the hit, and is he going for the undercut on RGW? RGW will probably come out around the likes of Brent Ryan sort of area, I would imagine. So Pharrell Fury, on a set of soft compound tyres, he's the first to come in on this set of soft. He's got to be behind Callie, I think, coming at the pits.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the oh, go on, what have you seen?
Callie down the inside line of Ryan. I wonder if that was a little bit of a ploy from Ryan to go and get the DRS running down the straight. Callie just... I can't really describe what I saw there, to be honest. Callie's through anyways and into 10th. It looked like Ryan tried to get the DRS and tried to get the run down the Camel straight. It's cost him, though, if he tried to do that.
Yeah, he's just not quite close enough this time around. But yeah, interestingly enough, as you were talking about Toxic's penalties if Verstappen picked one up, I just went on to see how many warnings he's had as Verstappen has picked up a 3-second time penalty, but Toxic is on 6 seconds.
Oh yeah, he is on 6 seconds. I've got it up now. DOHC 3, Maledictus on 6 seconds, Campbell on 3, Verstappen on Campbell, sorry, on 5, Verstappen's on 3, Toxic on 6, TDB on 3, Ryan on 3, Pharrell Fury on 6, Zerdam on 9, and Jordan in on 3 seconds worth of penalties. That's the rundown of the penalties at this stage. But yeah, Verstappen holding. Toxic has picked up another penalty, and that's now 9 seconds. He's dropping behind TDB at this rate. So Toxic is pacing himself too much to try and go to the back of Verstappen, and it's costing him because he's making silly mistakes in terms of the driving limits out on track, and he's picked up a 3rd penalty there out on track, and Toxic is going to be losing this race out on track. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, not only is Toxic under threat from TDB, but also with 9 seconds of penalties, he's under threat from Nolan and Brent as well.
Yeah, Nolan and Brent are just coming past the start-finish line now. RGW and DOHC are coming out the pit lane as well in all of this, and RGW is going to be around Cali Ryan sort of area, I think, coming out of the pit lane. He could actually fall right in between both of them here. Comes out of the pit lane, there's Ryan just going through, and in fact there's Pharrell Fury, and Pharrell Fury is going to get the undercut running down the straight. There's no overtake mode, remember, and Pharrell Fury has undercut RGW, and RJDW is the one that's actually going to have the DRS now running up through the detection point. RGW now is opening up the DRS. Pharrell Fury just comes to the side of him. Brent is through on Nolan running down towards the com just in the foreground of shot, but Nolan fights back on Brent. RGW though is through and he's into 9th position, and the outsmartedness from Pharrell Fury trying to get that undercut done, not quite close enough. Zerdimer is trying to fight with DOHC, a half-cut Zerdimer, I've got to say in all of this as well. DOHC lunges it down the inside on the Irishman, tries to look down the inside line, Zerdimer on the outside line, DOHC on the inside through Bruxelles. Surely this is going to be a one-way corner really. And it is, because Zerdimer's forced out wide onto the curb slightly, and DOHC is through, and he's into 11th, and he can now get chasing down his own Division 2 rivals.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that gap at the moment. As it stands right now, Toxic will be dropping behind both Nolan and Brent. But with these guys on the soft tyres, if they can get through, as RJDW picks up a 3-second time penalty, and he was going to be the one I was going to mention, if he can get past these guys on the mediums and close up enough, he could get within that penalty window as well, but that penalty has blown it for him.
Yeah, that penalty has really blown it from, but you can see the black and white flags next to the driver's name. That indicates that they've got penalties, of course, out on track. Pharrell Fury has got a bit of support there in the comment section, I can see as well. Verstappen bangs in the new fastest lap of the race, 157.5. That's going to be in utter comparison, I think, to the likes of DUHC who've completed one lap already. We should see a new fastest lap coming across the line, I would imagine this time around, or maybe next time around. But Verstappen, on the back of Campbell. Verstappen has got an advantage on Campbell. It's only a 2-second advantage, but he's now looking on the back of Campbell, and Campbell will look to the inside line. Verstappen on the outside line. This is easy for Verstappen. He gets up and he's into the lead of the race. Campbell now in second, Toxic in third, and Verstappen. Campbell, I would assume, is probably going to try and run a little bit of a game for Verstappen, I think, as Brent looks the outside line of Nolan. Nolan back on the inside line, though, gets the move back done, and Brent is not good enough coming through Lecombe, and Nolan's back through and he's into 5th position.
Yeah, they both won this. They both want to finish ahead of the other one, because at the moment, I mean, they can both see as well on the current graphics and everything with seeing the penalties. They both know that they are around the penalty range of Toxic, so they both want to be ahead of the other one so they can gain that extra position when Toxic takes his penalties. But the more they fight, the more likely neither of them will be able to jump in.
RGW actually just made a mistake there, and I thought he was going to try and go around the outside of Ryan when making that mistake. That would have been insane if he completed that, but Callie is holding on currently for 7th. Ryan and Nate RGW in 9th. Campbell, though, trying to get onto the back of Verstappen, running in toward the bus stop chicane once again. Campbell not close enough this time around. Lap 11 to 13. Well, I've got to say, everyone has driven cleanly. Even Zerdimer, who's half cut out on track, he's driven very cleanly as well. The driving standards have improved considerably, and it's a good job, because honestly, this race has been fantastic so far. Pharrell Fury looks to the back of RGW, Ryan on the back of Callie.
Verstappen just went on at turn 1, slowed right down. Campbell also slowed right down. They were playing a little game of who wants DRS. Verstappen's got a good run, but look how close Toxic is to him now.
Yeah, Toxic's a second away. RGW is battling with Pharrell Fury, and RGW is through and he's into 9th position. And Pharrell Fury, these two old rivals are better go at it. Campbell's getting them on. Verstappen looks the outside line in toward Lecombe, tries to get the move done. Verstappen up the curb slightly. Campbell's going to have the inside line. Verstappen now on the inside line for Lecombe on the exit. Verstappen on the inside line. Campbell on the outside line. Brilliant driving standards between them both, and Campbell might just come out on top of this. He does. Campbell muscles his way back through and he's into the lead of the race. Verstappen and Toxic now right on the back of Verstappen. It's all in vain, but the more he closes the gap up, the more he can try and get away from TDP. And the Toxic and TDP gap is not said and done at all. 9 seconds, 3 seconds to TDP. If Toxic gains another 3 seconds and he's quick, which he is, and he's looking at it at the minute, could he even gain past Verstappen and Campbell and win this? As the yellow flag in Sector 2 into the UHC that round.
Yeah, there's also another interesting point to put out now. With Toxic now on the back of Verstappen, is he going to attack Verstappen enough so that Campbell can gain a 2-second lead so he can stay and win this race?
You'd have to imagine so, to be honest, because either situation, Toxic's going to be behind, or going to be ahead of Verstappen in the sprint race. So Toxic, I don't think, should go for this at all. He should just play it quiet, and he should just rate in behind Verstappen, because he's only going to lose as a result. Nolan's, 9 seconds basically behind him. TDP's 2.8 behind him. Toxic's going to be losing the position to TDP, but is Toxic going to lose the position to Nolan? That's the main thing. The gap is 9.8 seconds. I make that out between Toxic and Nolan at this stage. So Toxic at the minute has done enough to fend off Nolan, and Toxic actually is only going to be 1 position or 2 positions ahead of Verstappen, but I have a feeling we might get 3 wide here. Running down the Camel straight, Verstappen tries to get the outside line. Campbell's going to be a sitting duck. Toxic, me might lunge this around the outside. Toxic tries to go for this. This will be bold and brave and brilliant if he could try and get the move done. He doesn't. And now Campbell's going to get the switch back on his own teammate. It's now put Verstappen, though, into the lead of the race. Toxic in second, Campbell in third. Nolan and Brent are still battling for 5th position, and the more they battle, the more that Toxic's going to gain. Toxic looks again to the outside line. Campbell was looking at the inside line there, but Verstappen leads the way. Toxic in second, Campbell in third. It's not the scenario that Toxic wants to be in whatsoever, but he's got 4 seconds to gain on Campbell, basically. He's got 6 seconds to gain on TDB. It's not probably going to be enough. Toxic, I think, regardless, is going to be 2 positions ahead of Verstappen starting the feature race, and that starting the sprint race, and that is going to be massively important.
Yeah, and he is going to lose points to Verstappen here, but is that the 9 points that Verstappen will gain on him?
But it has to be at the end of the session, so we'll have to say and take the sprint race into whole consideration. Will Verstappen's going to be gaining points on Toxic, we know that, but I don't think it's going to be 9 points. Possibly because Toxic's probably going to have a better sprint race than he is a feature race because of the penalties. Verstappen leads the way, Toxic in second, Campbell in third, and who's predicted the top 3, by the way?
We don't talk about this.
RGW's going side by side with Ryan. Callie looks the outside line as well. RGW tries to go muscle his way around the outside line. He doesn't. Pharrell Fury's involved in this as well. It's nearly 2x2 Noah's Ark as we go down in towards the source for the final time. Ryan, RGW is through. Ryan will get the DRS down into the detection point. Callie on the inside line, though. Absolutely forces his way through. Relentless against Excel in a relentless sandwich and a damn sandwich as well. RGW is through and he's into 7th. Ryan, Callie, Pharrell Fury, Toxic's by the way through on Verstappen for the race lead into Lecom. Toxic is through on Verstappen. Campbell's losing time at the minute as well. 3 wide running down the Camel straight between Callie and Ryan and RGW. Callie has he got the pace to try and get them both. Callie on the inside line. Ryan on the outside line. Callie on the inside line. Ryan just about holds. Callie's now on the inside line for Lecom. This will be brilliant if he can pull a move. No, he can't. There's contact, and Ryan has muscled his way back through. RGW and Pharrell Fury are involved in this as well. Down the inside line goes the Colin. He's now through. And Callie, from possibly gaining 2 positions, has actually lost 2, really.
Yeah, and I just noticed as well, pop up at the bottom, TDB picking up another 3-second time penalty.
Oh, and that's going to be costly, and Toxic has got more than 3 seconds to TDP. So actually, Toxic is the one that is going to be finishing in 3rd in this race. This is unbelievable. This is just championship personified. TDP's at the race. TDP has crashed coming through the exit of Stavilo. And he's round, and TDP... So unfortunate. It is going to put Toxic now in a definite 3rd position. It's now Toxic runs up to the bus stop chicane for the final time in the feature race. My God, we've got the sprint race still to come. Toxic round the final corner to come across the line and win. Campbell is dropping off on the back of Verstappen. Toxic through and wins. But RGW, yeah, fighting with Ryan. It's 3-1 into the bus stop nearly. Callie's right on the back of Ryan. RGW, they've got to keep it clean for Ralph Fury's not entirely out of this if they all make a mess up on the bus stop. And Callie's going to get around the outside of both of them. Callie goes around the outside of both. It's going to be a photo finish to the line. Callie trying to get him. Oh, it's 9,000th of a second and Callie gets him. Callie has got him by 9,000ths of a second. That's for 6th, by the way. Callie is... My God, what a race. Nolan, oh, what an absolute unreal race that was in Belgium. Driver of the day, what about the in-game fans? Yeah, Toxic. He has to get Driver of the day for that feature race performance. But what does that do in the championship? I do not know. My voice has gone, as you can probably tell. And my God, were we treated to an absolute thriller. That finale between the P6 guys. Verstappen takes the top step of the podium. Campbell finishes in 2nd. Toxic in the end in 3rd. That all about wraps it up for BWT in terms of the constructors. If they haven't wrapped it up already, then they probably have now. And Toxic finishes 3rd. Verstappen in 1st. And once again, I reiterate this, Toxic is starting 2 positions ahead of Verstappen in the sprint race. Crucial around a track like this.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's all going to be about how quickly they can get through the likes of Cali, the likes of Nolan, the likes of Brian and RJDW, who will start on pole position.
I wonder if Campbell actually backed off on that final lap to try and let Toxic get 2nd. Because look at the gap, it's 9/10 of a second at the end. One more lap and it would have been Toxic's favour. Verstappen has won. Campbell 2nd, Toxic in 3rd. Brent in 4th. Great drive from him. Nolan in 5th. Grub battle between them both. Callie in 6th. That's Nick Ryan by 9,000ths of a second. That is unbelievable. RGW in 8th. Ralph Fury 9th. Jordan in 10th. DUHC in 11th. Zerdom at 12th. Maledictus in 13th. Finishing under his own accord. TDB the only DNF out of the race. Verstappen, Campbell, Toxic your top 3. Sprint race still to come. My God, if the feature race was anything to go by, then the sprint race is probably going to be even better.
Yeah, usually in the sprint race this is a lot more chaotic as well, so I don't know if we're going to be able to keep up with all this. We may need a 3rd commentator to join us.
I think we do. Honestly, I'm just trying to have a look what's going on in the comment section as well. There's nothing really coming through, but Toxic saying that was quite fun. It was quite fun. My God, it was brilliant to watch as well. Brilliant to commentate on. And my God, are we treated to an absolute thriller for this sprint race? Of course, as I reiterate, Toxic is the man that is going to be starting in 6th position out on track. Verstappen is going to be starting 8th because he won that feature race. The gap, currently, well, I don't know how to predict the gap, to be honest. Verstappen has gained points on Toxic. And the more that Verstappen gains points, the more that Toxic's going to have to try and fend them off going into Bahrain. But the feature race is done, the sprint race about to begin. RJDW is the man out on top. Ryan in 2nd, Callie in 3rd. They're all going on a set of medium compounded tyres. 9 laps around here. All I will say, welcome to the wacky races.
Yeah, so as it stands right now, 5 points Verstappen has gained on Toxic in that feature race is not enough at this moment in time. He needs to gain more in the sprint ratio right now, so he's got to get past Toxic, and we saw the pace of Toxic. Unbelievable pace to get through the field, so is that going to be possible? Time will tell.
I think it will, because you've got the likes of Nolan, you've got the likes of Brent, who had a really good battle in the feature race. Brent, of course, had the better pace compared to Nolan in the latter stages. But Toxic, Campbell and Verstappen, those are the 3 probably to watch, I think, in terms of the progress and in terms of the championship for 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Verstappen is 2 positions behind Toxic. I will keep on reiterating this. Verstappen is 2 positions behind Toxic. Campbell is the one that's going to hold the key to all of this race, I think. Campbell, does he work for his teammate to try and wrap him up the championship? Or does he work for his teammate in QVR, who's going for the championship and is trying to close the gap? It's a very, very difficult scenario to be in, but I know which one I'd be going for. I'd be trying to get Toxic wrapping up this championship, as actually Campbell runs onto the grass and has a bit of an excursion. Simple as that.
I think there was just a stray strand of grass here. Campbell didn't like the look of it.
The lawnmower will, of course, been out after this race, but Campbell, what would he be doing? If you were in his scenario, what would you be doing? Would you be getting Toxic for the championship win, or Verstappen a track of the championship going into Bahrain?
Well, for Campbell as well, he's got his own little, his own little piece of the championship to fight for, because obviously with both Ruta and Rocco not here, as Toxic's around on the formation lap.
Deary me, he's lost where Matsushita did, of course, after the contact with Felipe Drugovich, I think it was, in 2020 around team in Belgium. But he's going to be the final man to come onto the back of the grid, and we're going to be waiting for Toxic. But what were you saying before we spun?
Yeah, so Campbell, he picked up pole position. He got second in the feature race, so I think he's already jumped up ahead of Ruta in the championship. A decent result here, and he could jump ahead of Rocco going into the final round and be in third place, because they have that battle going on for third. Both Ruta and Rocco not here, of course, to really fight against Campbell. So Campbell's got his own little championship to fight for.
Well, here we go. Sprint race about to begin. The 5 red lights about to go out here in Belgium. Be prepared for this one. 5 red lights now coming out. And it's lights out and away we go. RGW gets a better start. Look at Callie's start though. Callie's got a really good start on the back of Ryan. He's going to be side by side with them down in towards turn 1. Brent has got a good start on Nolan. Toxic tries to muscle his way through as well on the back of Nolan. He gets through and he's into 5th position. Nolan there down into 2nd. Toxic side by side with Brent. And he's trying to get the move done down in towards Aruja Radio. This is impossible and Toxic's through. Toxic is through and he's into P4. And Verstappen's down in P7. Shooting the championship might be going his way. Jordan, Maledictus right on the back. It's CD3 wide. Callie blocked in. RGW. It's now going to appear the gap. Callie is trying to force his way through. Look at Toxic. It's nearly 4 wide as we go down into the Camel straight for the first time. Ryan on the inside line of RGW. Toxic has got monstrous pace out on track. He looks the outside line now of Callie, and he looks the outside line, and he tries to get the move done. Is he going to try and muscle his way around the outside? It's very late on the bricks. Campbell has left the session. Campbell has left the session. The man that would have tried to wrap it up for Toxic is gone. He's down in 14th. He might have had contact early on in this race. Ryan leads RGW second, Callie in third. Verstappen's down in 8. Toxic is up to 4th. Toxic is the man that has got the championship now. Maybe one hand on it.
Yeah, I was on board with Verstappen. Coming up the Rouge and Radion, a slight little tap on the back of Nolan's car as he got right up underneath that rear ring, just slowed him down enough to Maledictus, Jordan, and I believe even I think Foul Fury might have got ahead of him, so Verstappen's had to fight his way back through these guys to get back to his good position.
It does, and just comes to show the credit of Verstappen as well. Out on track, it's Ryan who leads the way. It's RGW second, it's Callie in third. Toxic though, hunting on the back. RGW hunting on the back of Ryan. Look at him. He looks the outside line down into the bus stop chicane, but Callie now is going to fancy his chances down the inside. Toxic tries to absolutely send it around the outside. Look at Toxic down the inside line into the bus stop. Tries to get the move done. Callie now on the outside line. This is insane racing coming across the line. Ryan leads, RGW second. Callie third. There's a bit of a glitch further down the field. Brenton behind him with Nolan as well, side by side between Maledictus, I think, and that is Jordan, if I'm not mistaken. No, Verstappen is actually through Maledictus, and he's into 7th. Ryan leads the way, RGW second, Callie third, Toxic in 4th. Toxic is well up for this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Toxic, he knows the championship could be decided here tonight, and as you say, he's got one hand on the trophy, and really, right now, he doesn't really have to do too much, but I know he'd want to cap off this with a win.
RGW looks the inside line, gets the move done on Ryan. He's into the lead of the race. Very, very close to contact there. But look at now the gap. It is pretty much a second covering the top 5 at this stage. Brent's right on the back with Nolan. Verstappen latching onto the back. Maledictus and Jordan now latching onto the back. It's a 9, maybe even a 12 car train for the lead of the race. Ryan's nearly running side by side with RGW running down the straight, but it's 300ths of a second apparently. That's not 300ths of a second running down in towards Puon. Toxic right on the back of Callie. Yeah, Ryan run out wide and RGW is now through, and Nolan and Brent having to go battle down the inside line. Goes Brent, Nolan is through them, he's into 5th, and look at that, Callie's made a mistake, and now Toxic to the outside line into the Vanier section, tries to get the move done, he doesn't. Toxic cannot find a way through on Callie, and he's going to have to try and get that ticket from California and try and turn it into a championship golden winning ticket.
Yeah, so as it stands right now, if Toxic was to pick up a 3-second time penalty, we saw in the feature race he's quite prone to it. They were dropping down in a lot of positions at this moment in time.
Oh, I'll tell you what, look at Verstappen run on the back of Brent. He's got to fancy his chances to the inside line. Down into the bus stop. Verstappen needs this move down the inside line. Brent's on the outside line, and Verstappen will try and hold it all the way around the outside. Can he get the traction off the corner? Yes, he can. He's right through and he's into sixth position. Toxic taking the very thin line, running down adjacent to the pit wall. Verstappen surely though should be through. It's side by side in the background. TDB masters Jordan around the outside, gets the move done. Maledictus is trying to get through on the inside of Brent. Absolutely unreal racing. And now it's side by side between RGW and Ryan. RGW out of the slipstream on Ryan. Callie in third, Toxic in fourth. Still the gap. Nolan in fifth, Verstappen in sixth. The big gap between Nolan and Verstappen. And RGW is going to lose the race lead. He might even lose second here because Callie, look at the speed of Callie. Looks to the inside line. Tries to get the move done. He doesn't. But all of this brings Toxic back into play. Brings Nolan into play. And all of this battling. Callie musters his way through and he's into second. Brilliant stuff. And Verstappen. 3-second time penalty for Verstappen. And Toxic down the inside line. On Callie, gets the move done. Can he try and force it on Callie down the inside line? It's a very impossible move. And he doesn't. And RGW looks the inside line. And Nolan's through on the inside line. My God, Toxic wants this. Toxic wants this out on track. But he shouldn't. He shouldn't want this because Nolan forced the way through on the inside line. Toxic now forced the outside line. Through poo on they go. And it's still side by side. Toxic on the inside line. Can he late break him down into the Fania chicane? Just about on the outside line. Nolan fights back, but look at this. Verstappen's right wide. Toxic falls out wide onto the gravel by Nolan. These two have got a very, very big problem with each other out on track. Verstappen, though, is on the back. He's got a 3-second time penalty. I don't think he even cares at this point because, look, he's got his championship rival dead in his sights.
Yeah, and he's got the slipstream, but...
Oh, it's 3 wide and behind! Oh my God, Brent, Maledictus and TDB are going 3 wide and behind! My God, I've never seen anything like it! Brent is through and he's into 7th. TDB's through and he's into 8th. Maledictus in 9th. Contact further down the field and Maledictus has spun. Maledictus has spun. And that was inevitable, I think. He resets the track, I think, as well. Unless the game forced him to. Verstappen now through on Nolan down the inside line. Can he get the move done? Yes, he can. Verstappen stays 5th, Nolan in 6th. It's very aggressive racing. But the driving standard certainly slipped since the feature race. But, and only but, Toxic still on the back of RGW.
Yeah, I saw what happened with Nolan. He went into the back of RJW, went into a bit of a half spin. That allowed Toxic to get through and allowed Verstappen to run to get through into turn 1. But Nolan on the inside. The end of the camel straight, he's going to be able to take that position back. No.
Force the inside line, Nolan again looking a little bit aggressive out on track, but I've got to be honest, Verstappen through and he's into 5th. He stays in that position for now. TDB has a massive moment coming down in towards Bruxelles. He almost slid the car coming out of the Lecombe section. Callie leads the way, Ryan 2nd, RGB 3rd, Toxic in 4th. Toxic wants this out on track, but there comes a point where your racing is clean enough to try and get the move done. For my opinion, Toxic is not clean enough out on track to try and get this move done. He's been aggressive with Nolan. Will he be aggressive with Verstappen if Verstappen gets onto the back of him? We have to wait and see. But Toxic wants this. But there comes a time and a place where you try and pinpoint your move. It's got to be done in a clean and fair manner out on track. If not, you're going to be towards the steward's office. Simple as that.
Yeah, and a serious question has to come out for Toxic right now. What is he driving for? Does he want to win the race or does he want to win the championship? That's the question he's got to ask himself right now.
Oh, Don, by the way, saying it's like Villarreal versus Man U. I think that was from the feature race comment. There's Toxic down the inside line on RGW and gets the move done. That was an anagram there. Toxic's through an RJDW and he's through and he's into 3rd position. But now Ryan and Callie are up next. Verstappen is right on the back of RGW as well. I wonder if the Division 2 champ is going to have a bit. Nolan's into the back of Verstappen. Nolan into the back of Verstappen came speeding in there like a demon down in towards turn 1. Completely outbroke himself. Couldn't get the car stopped. He's got damage right side end plate. Verstappen has now lost 1.6 seconds on the back of RGW. Ryan now going side by side with Callie. Look at the run that Toxic's got. Toxic, I think, will fancy his chances to maybe make this around the outside of Callie. If not, around the outside of Ryan as well. Toxic to the outside line. Cali on the inside. They've got to be very, very careful. They don't want to lean on each other. RGW all in this as well, but Toxic to the outside line on Cali. Can he get the move done? No, he can't. Cali's still side by side with them. Lap 5 out of 9. It looks like we've been going this race for about 10 years at this stage. Ryan leads, Cali second, Toxic third. RGW in fourth. Toxic falls out wide. He couldn't get the move done on Cali, but yet again, it's just looking a little bit over aggressive.
Yeah, it is, and look at that gap between these guys and Verstappen. That has come down by a few tenths. We've got a spinner in the background, and that is Zudela. I think the shots have hit him.
I think actually he might have had a little bit of contact with Jordan. He was running side by side with Jordan just before that. And I wonder if he's got caught on the outside curve and maybe spun the car. Cali nearly spun the car coming out through the Campos section. Now running down into the curve pull throughout once again. It's Ryan leading the way. Cali second, Toxic in third. Toxic at the minute, I believe, might be doing enough to try and take it to the final round of the championship. Verstappen has got to gain points, and he's got to gain on the back of Nolan. Nolan is going to be the man that could win or lose the championship for Verstappen. Cali looks the outside line, and Ryan Toxic runs into the back of Ryan, and Ryan, there was no way to go, to be honest, for Toxic there. Cali to the inside line. It's not going to be 3 wide down into the source, is it? Toxic, Ryan, he's going to have to try and close the gap, Ryan. He does. Toxic on the outside line now. RGW, Verstappen's just lapping this up, thinking if there's a massive bit of contact here between these guys, Verstappen might be in the right scenario, along with RGW, to try and pick up the pieces. As Cali and Ryan thought we're going to run side by side down towards the Rouge and Radion, but they don't.
Yeah, and Verstappen was looking at the inside into Rouge and Radion on RGW.
3 wide.
But here we go, 3 wide as we head down into the cones.
I think Toxic might have the run to the inside line. Cali's going to try and cut across. Toxic very, very late on the brakes and nearly lean on each other. It's banging wheels action here in Belgium in the sprint race. Toxic manages to get through though. Fantastic stuff by Toxic, but for how long? Because here comes Cali again. Toxic is through though, down in towards Bruxelles, and now he's got a wall of cars between himself and Verstappen. As long as he doesn't pick up any 3-second time penalties, that might have been the championship winning move.
Yeah, absolutely. Now Toxic, he's got to go. He's got to absolutely bolt away from these guys.
Don, by the way, saying Schumacher versus Hakkinen Reloaded. Yeah, I totally agree on that. Verstappen is on the back of RJW, and RJDW, though, is going to look to try and get onto the back of Ryan. Maybe now the first signs of a bit of a split forming in terms of the top 5. Toxic leads the way, Cali in second. Toxic now breaking away from Cali. He's got the pace. He's got the ultimate pace to pull away now by and try and dominate the rest of this race. Cali's not going to give up without a fight. He's a Division 2 driver, for goodness sake, and he's not going to give up without a fight. Verstappen now to the outside line and RGW. These two have got to be very, very careful. They're going off camber into the corner, and they manage to keep it clean. RGW stays fourth. DWH Siege right on the back of Nolan with that damage as well. Nolan holding up in the back of TDB. TDB, by the way, has got onto the back of this now as well. Unbelievable. 6-car train for the lead.
Yeah, 1 penalty could lose you. I mean, it could lose you like 7 or 8 positions by you at the moment.
It could, the Irish Law, DWC, yeah, I think we saw the same thing. He dives it down the inside line, gets the move done, and he's into 7th. Nearly hits the wall, actually, on the right-hand side.
Yeah, but he's not going to be there for long, because Nolan will have the DRS. He's just going to be straight back through.
Verstappen's on the back of RGW as well. They're running near enough, quarter to quarter, running down the straight. Verstappen looks to the inside line. He's had the fastest first sector out of everyone. Through the first sector they go. And now coming through the exit of Lacombe, Verstappen's on the inside line. RGW is going to be forced on the outside line, and it's brilliant stuff by Verstappen. He's now got pretty much the full car length ahead, and Verstappen has muscled his way through in the Division 2 champ, and also TDP is going to look through as well, and RGW as well. Toxic leads the way, Cali second, Ryan in third, front 3 breaking away. Verstappen now needs to bring RGW and TDP with him. DWC and Nolan are still fighting further down the field, but the more that it actually gains, Verstappen, the more that RGW and TDP fight, the two teammates, they're a second away from each other now. Verstappen has got to pull away from RGW to try and save any sort of resemblance to try and get this championship. Yeah, TDP through on RGW. And Nolan down into 11th.
Yeah, DOHC then picking up a 5-second time penalty for corner cutting, gaining a position off track.
Oh, TDB's lost it! TDB has lost it, coming out through Paul Frere. He's just about recovered the car out of harm's way for everyone else. He's going to rejoin the track in front of Jordan. And just about rejoins the track in front of Jordan, but TDB has spun. Again, he spun on the final lap in the feature race. He spun on the third last lap here in the sprint race. He's got right side end plate damage. You may as well come in to try and set the new fastest lap of the race, to be honest, because you've got no chance trying to hold off Campbell and Zernemer. Campbell, by the way, he was more than 7 seconds off. And he's now nearly on the back of Jordan. Campbell's recovering really well in this race. Despite that, it's TDB retires from the session. And Campbell, just to boot, fastest lap of the race.
Yep, and that is big for Campbell because right now, I mean, this sprint race hasn't gone well for him. I don't think after this race he'll be ahead of Rocco.
Oh, Campbell spun. Campbell spun actually coming out through turn 1. Oh, sorry, Zernemer that spun. Zernemer's the one that spun. Verstappen down the inside line, tries to get the move done and Ryan, they lean on each other slightly. Ryan's not going to give up this one to the outside line. Verstappen on the inside line, there's contact! And that might be it. Verstappen now in 4th, Toxic in the lead of the race. RGW is brought back into contention. Verstappen is only going to be losing 1 position, maybe. Actually, he might be losing 3. Brent and Pharrell Fury are on the back of this. DWHC, Maledictus fighting side by side and towards Bruxelles as well. Oh, Maledictus has spun! Right side and plate damage coming through X. That's terrible. Maledictus now. Another one to catch the spins. A lot of spins going on. Toxic and Callie are top 2. Ryan might be 3rd. Verstappen is certainly putting up a fight for this. But I'm not sure. I think Toxic might have done this, you know.
Yeah, I think he's done enough. I mean, as I said, coming into the sprint race, as I said before, it was 5 points that Verstappen had gained on Toxic. I believe you said at the start of the stream he needed to gain 9 points on him to take the championship to the final round. Yeah,
and look at the gap. Toxic is going to be your champion, I think, at the end of tonight. If not, it's certainly going to be the first race next week in Bahrain, depending on the point system. But Pharrell Fury right on the back of Brent in the meantime, running down into the bus stop chicane. Not quite close enough. Maledictus is running side by side with Jordan. Jordan looks the inside on of Maledictus. I don't think he realises he got damage. Maledictus forces him up on the curb. Very unsmart move there, if I've got to be honest, by Maledictus. Trying to force up his own teammate onto the curb. Maledictus is still in 10th position. But well, there's a will, there's a way, and Campbell launches it on Jordan. Brilliant move down into La Source, and he's up into 11th.
Yeah, great stuff here from Campbell, but here comes Verstappen now, DRS wide open, and there's just no defence on this for Ryan. Cruises on by.
He does, and he's now got to hope that Ryan is now going to have to pick up a 3-second penalty, because Verstappen's only chance now of maybe taking it to the final round of the championship is for Toxic, maybe to pick up a 3-second time penalty, maybe to lose this race. But Toxic leads, Callie 2nd, Verstappen in 3rd. Verstappen in the end is going to be down in 5th as it stands. If Ryan and RGW do not pick up any 3-second penalties, it's going to be 5th position. If they do, it spawns a whole different kettle of fish, I think. But Toxic leads the way. Callie in 2nd, Verstappen in 3rd. With 1 more sector to go, Toxic is on the brink of maybe winning a third TTML League of Europe Formula 2 Championship, and he absolutely deserves it, the man. Toxic has dominated out in front. Callie in 2nd, Verstappen in 3rd. Toxic gone miles wide coming through Stavelo, and that's just a little bit of a scary moment there from Toxic.
Yeah, and I was just looking at the warnings. He was only 1 warning away from a penalty, so very lucky that he didn't pick up the 3-second time penalty there for Toxic.
But Toxic comes around the final couple of corners out on track. In fact, it's going to be his 4th championship win. Toxic to the line wins. Callie in 2nd. Verstappen in 3rd. Verstappen right on the back of Ryan and RGW across the line. And Verstappen is 5th. Is that enough for Toxic to wrap up the championship? Who knows? Brent in 6th. Campbell might get a load of positions. He's up into 8th. Nolan in 7th. Campbell in 8th. Maledictus, Jordan, Pharrell, Fury, DUHC. We're waiting on Zernemer to come across the line. My calculations are, I think Toxic has wrapped up the championship. Callie, Ryan, RGW, Verstappen, it's 1st to 5th for a point system here in the sprint race. This is what we're going to have to count on now. 18 points for Toxic. Verstappen finished 5th, so I'm just trying to calculate this up.
11.
And it's 11 points 7 points, I should say, is the difference between Toxic and Verstappen. So actually, Toxic has only gained 2 points on the back of Verstappen. Is that enough? I don't think it is.
I'll do some quick calculations a sec. Let me just grab my phone. 2 seconds.
I think the gap is 58 points going into the final round of Bahrain. 58 points might be the gap. Toxic, though, to the top step of the podium. An absolute dominant drive here in the sprint race. In the end, once he got out of the traffic, once he got out of the battling, he wins here. Is it the championship victory? I don't know. Mike's going to do the calculations. I don't think it's enough. I honestly do not think it's enough. We've got something like 100 odd points still up for grabs, I think. But Toxic has won anyways. Cali second, Ryan in third, RGW in fourth, Verstappen in fifth, Brent in sixth, Nolan seventh, Campbell in eighth, Maledictus ninth, Jordan ran off the top 10. Toxic, by the way, picked up fastest lap as well to boot that. Jordan 10th, Ralph Fury 11th, DUHC 12th, Zerlema 13th, TDP again the only DNF in the sprint race. Toxic, Cali, Ryan first, second and third. And have you managed to sort out the calculations?
I believe Toxic just needed a 47-point gap to take the championship. So I believe 28 is the maximum you can get for the feature race and 19 is the maximum you can get for the sprint race. So 47 points, the gap.
That's enough.
Is enough. So yeah, Toxic's done it.
Toxic has done it. He's a 4-time champion. Not only that, a 4-time champion in a row here in League of Europe Formula 2 in Division 1. What an epic penultimate round of the championship. Of course, we've got one more round to come in Bahrain. But I believe Toxic has won the championship. We'll get that confirmed for you fully next week when we come for Bahrain, of course. But Mike, I'm going to come across you, your final thoughts and driver of the day.
Well, I mean, absolutely hectic sprint race again. And we're kind of used to them by now. But I mean, as it stands right now, I mean, you got to look at the pace, and no one had better pace out there than Toxic. And to be honest, like the feature race, he's able to get through, get himself up into a good position very quickly. And in the sprint race, well, you could say bit too aggressive. Maybe some stewards reports may go in that could change things, but for me, I just on pace alone, I have to go with the Toxic or Campbell.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, if Campbell didn't disconnect, then it would have been a really interesting race in that sprint race. Yeah, I'm going to agree. My driver of the day, definitely Toxic. I think he just dominated that end of the race. The battles, best race in F2 for a long time, he has said. If a bit aggressive, but we'll let that slide, I'm sure. But fantastic stuff from the guys out on track. Ralph Fury really enjoyed the racing out on track. And that's what Formula 2 should be. Really great racing. Belgium has provided it. Bahrain could provide it once again next week. Who knows what is going to happen. But congratulations to Toxic for wrapping up a 4th championship here in LOE Division 1 in Formula 2. An absolute stalwart of the division. Whether or not he's here next season on the new game, you have to wait and see, of course. But we've got one more round of the championship to come next week. We have, of course, got LOE ACC, if I'm not mistaken, going on Friday. LOE PC, of course, done. No racing on Saturday. And then tune in next week. Season finale, LOE Division 1 and 2 on 6:30, 8 PM on next Monday. Be there or be square. Simple as that. Thank you so much for watching, though. Please take care of yourselves in this crazy world that we all live in. For myself and Mike, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.